Hello students, I am Amardeep Pandey from Ambition Classes. Students, today I will teach you chemistry of class 11th, and in chemistry our chapter is atomic structure. Students, in our previous video I have taught you about the discovery of electron. Now today we have to learn about the discovery of proton. Let's see. Discovery of protons or anode ray experiment. Before we have studied cathode ray experiment and we have discovered electron. Now we have to discover proton and we have to study anode ray experiment. Students, just you have to know we are having two electrodes. One is cathode and another is anode. Students, cathode is negative electrode and anode is positive electrode. So we will study anode ray experiment, that is positive ray experiment. It is also called canal ray experiment. It has two names, anode ray experiment. Anode ray experiment can be called as a positive ray experiment or it can be called as a canal ray experiment. Okay students, so it is a positive ray. So positive ray means it will contain the positive particle, and positive particles are given a name which is known as proton. So this would confirm the discovery of proton. So let's see. Students, Goldstein, a German scientist, repeated J.J. Thomson experiment. Students, previously we have studied the discovery of electron, which was discovered by Mr. J.J. Thomson. Now we have to study the discovery of proton. Student, proton was discovered by Goldstein, a scientist named Goldstein. What does Goldstein did? Goldstein repeated the same experiment which J.J. Thomson had performed. Okay students, so Goldstein, a German scientist, repeated J.J. Thomson experiment by modifying the discharge tube. He used perforated cathode and a gas at a very low pressure and was placed inside the discharge tube. Okay students. What did Goldstein do, students? Goldstein performed the same experiment which was performed by J.J. Thomson, but he modified the apparatus. Somewhat he modified the apparatus and he introduced some new terms. What does he modified? He repeated the same experiment. Three observations were made, students. I will tell you. By modifying the discharge tube, he used the perforated cathode. He used perforated cathode instead of cathode. What does it mean? Cathode is like this, but perforated cathode is like this. There is a gap between each point. So it is known as perforated. And when there is no gap, then it is not known as perforated. So he used perforated cathode. Let's see this. We are having here cathode. In between the two dots, we are having some gaps. Here some gap, here some gap, here some. So it is known as perforated cathode. Okay students. And one more thing he introduced. He used perforated cathode and a gas at a very low pressure. And in a discharge tube, he filled some gases at a very low pressure. Students, at a very low pressure, placed inside the discharge tube. Okay students. So now, I think that you would have remembered how J.J. Thomson had discovered electron. What did he do? He carried out the discharge tube having the vacuum pump. Firstly, students, pressure was reduced two times. Firstly, students, it was 760 mm of Hg. After that, it was 1 mm of Hg. After that, it was 0.001 mm of Hg. So when it was 760 mm of Hg pressure inside the discharge tube, then no electric current is produced as well as no rays are produced. Okay students, when pressure is further reduced to 1 mm of Hg, that is how it is reduced. It is reduced by removing some air from this vacuum pump. Okay students, so that time also no rays was obtained. But when it was reduced to 0.001 mm of Hg, then an invisible rays was produced from the cathode. Okay students, so that was known as a cathode rays, and cathode was a negative electrode. Okay students, cathode was a negative electrode, so it is also known as negative rays. Now we have to perform that same experiment here also. 3 steps, we have to take the 3 steps. Okay students, after that what we will get here? Now let's come on to experimental observation. Let's see the first of all, let's see the apparatus. What is the apparatus? Okay student, this is a discharge tube, as you all know well. This is a discharge tube. Discharge tube. This is a discharge tube, student. Okay students, what we are having here, the two sides are two plates of the screens. Here it is coated with a zinc sulfide screen. This glass side was coated with a zinc sulfide. Okay students, so it is known as zinc sulfide screen, and this side was not coated with any of the material. So here we are having the perforated cathode. What does it mean? It means that in between the cathode there was a gap. Okay students, it is perforated cathode, and here it is anode. It is students, it is anode. Now a vacuum pump is connected, which is used to reduce the pressure of the gas or pressure of the air inside the. Now it is connected to a high voltage battery, which was about 5000 to 10,000 volt. Okay students, this pressure was reduced at a very high voltage, that is, it was 10,000 volt. It was 10,000 volt. Okay students, now let's see what is the experimental observation. On passing a very high voltage current between electrodes, on passing a very high voltage current, it means near about 10,000 volt current. Near about 10,000 volt current between the electrode, it was found that some rays emitted from the sides of anode. It was found that students, some rays are emitted from the sides of anode and pass through the holes in the cathode and produces green fluorescence on the opposite glass coated with zinc sulfide. Okay, let me tell you. When we have applied a very high voltage, students, then some rays are produced from cathode side. Some rays are produced from cathode side. When these rays go towards the anode, then in between the gas molecules are filled. Students, in between the gas molecules are filled. So these rays will strike the gas molecule. And in cathode ray experiment, I have told that the property of cathode ray. What was the property of cathode ray, students? It always ionizes the gas through which it passes. It will ionize this type of gases. It will ionize this gas. That is, cathode ray is negative charge, and this gas particle will be positive, and this gas particle will be positive. This also will be positive. This also will be positive. Then this cathode ray will come towards the anode, and this positive gas molecule which was ionized by cathode rays will move towards the cathode, and in between the perforated cathode has a hole, and from the hole side these positive rays pass through the holes and strike the zinc sulfide screen, and here it produces fluorescence. So the direction of positive rays is from anode to cathode. It means that it was produced from anode, which confirms that it is known as anode rays. And anode rays is positive rays, so it contains a positive particle which is known as proton. Okay students, opposite glass wall coated with a zinc sulfide. These rays are known as anode rays because they are produced from anode. Students, these rays are known as anode rays. Why? Because they are produced from anode. Okay students, and anode is a positive electrode, so it produces a positive rays. Anode is a positive electrode, students, so it produces positive rays, and these rays contain positive particle which are known as proton, and these rays contain positive particle which are known as proton. Thus this experiment confirmed the discovery of proton. Student, this is how the proton was discovered by Goldstein. What does he did? He again performed the same experiment which was performed by J.J. Thomson, but he modified his apparatus somewhat. After that, he discovered the proton. Okay student, just take it screenshot please. Dear students, now let's see some properties of anode rays or a positive rays or a canal rays. So what we have to learn? We have to learn the properties of anode rays. So let's see properties. They consist of positively charged particles called proton. Okay students, The anode rays consist of a positively charged particle, and these positively charged particles are known as protons. Anode rays are deflected from electric and magnetic field. Okay students, if in a discharge tube, if we apply a electric field or a magnetic field, then these anode rays are deflected from their actual path. That is, it will move toward the negative electrode. Okay students. Now third point, the masses of a particle constituting the anode rays found to be different for different gases taken in a discharge tube. Okay students, as you know how the anode rays was produced. Anode rays was produced from the gaseous molecule which was ionized. Okay students, so for different types of gases, their masses are different. Okay students, so if we have taken any gas, if we have taken one gas and then another gas, their masses may be different. So the masses of particles constituting the anode rays are also different. So that's the point. Okay students, after that, the nature of anode rays depend upon the gas enclosed in the discharge tube. Okay students, this is also important point. What was the nature of the anode rays? It totally depends upon the gases which are filled in the discharge tube. That is, oxygen can be filled, hydrogen can be filled, nitrogen can be filled. So the nature of the anode rays will depend upon the gas which was filled in the discharge tube. Now next point, the speed of these rays are very less than cathode rays. Okay students, the speed of anode rays are very less than cathode rays. This point has to be noted. Now next point, when they strike the zinc sulfide screen, produces green fluorescence. Okay students, when these anode rays strike the zinc sulfide screen, then they produce green fluorescence. Okay students, which confirms the discovery of proton. They consist of one or more protons because the gaseous atom may contain one or more electron. Okay student, these rays can contain more than one or two proton. Why? Because the gaseous atom which was filled in the discharge tube also can contain more than one or two electron. Okay students. Now next point, let's move on to our next point. What is the next point? They can penetrate through the metallic foil, but their penetrating power is less than the cathode rays. Okay students, these rays can penetrate through the metallic foil, but their penetrating power is far less than the cathode rays. That is, their penetrating power is less than cathode rays. So these are some important points of the discovery of anode rays. This point had to be noticed by you. Okay students, so that's all for today. Thank you very much.